What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Digi Bros.
We are on the fucking Rainbow Road.
It is definitely the Rainbow Road. I like all the swirls, the like weird trippy
This game has
swirls.
gotten intense. I've given up on like trying to get points and like killing everything because
I
it's
didn't know
fucking
you were doing
me.
all that the whole time.
There were a couple levels where I did good, but most of the time I ignore like trying to be good at the game.
I love this trippy ass music.
This place is intense. What?
I wonder where this. Whenever I hear like a soundtrack like this, I wonder if people who are like into the musical genre are way into this soundtrack.
Yeah.
Because there are some soundtracks that are like that, where like if you
Like
look
Eurobeat with initial
well,
D.
that's like the only thing that is Eurobeat, like invented the genre. But there's certain stuff where like I'll look at a list of, you know, best things in this genre, and then all of us like you look at like a jazz recommendation list, and there's the Cowboy Bebop soundtrack, and you're like, oh, you know, I guess even for
everyone who's into jazz started with the Cowboy Bebop soundtrack.
Definitely the case, but I mean, even then, if people who are into a genre like, you know, consider that to be a good enough entry in it, because I feel like you know, one of the things that bothers me as a big music guy is that a lot of the times I'll see a soundtrack getting praised for being a part of a genre that to me it sounds like a generic version of. Mm-hmm. Like, for instance, Doom. Doom was a huge one where people were praising the soundtrack for being like this, like, oh, this like heavy metal, you know, badass action music.
Like, dude, it's just the most generic metal possible.
It's the most generic fucking, like, I mean, it sounds kind of like, and I guess I feel similarly about the Mad Max Fury Road soundtrack. I mean,
Yeah.
it's both of them. They're good, sure, they're fine. They're great for what they are. They're great for the subject matter, but they're not great music. Like,
Yeah.
I would not listen to this on my own time.
It's like it's the novelty of it is fine.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's good for that. For, yeah, if you're playing a heavy metal action game, you want some heavy metal music, but it's not like a bunch of unique, cool heavy metal songs. Like, as a metal fan, this is not something I would choose to put on over any good metal album, you know?
Yeah.
So sometimes, like, that
It just inspires you to mute it and play better metal music.
Exactly.
Like, that's exactly what I did when I played it. I went and played fucking Metallica's whatever the fuck.
Yeah. Listen to fucking Master of Puppets. I
Yes.
did that too. And then
I
I
was like,
remembered
oh,
that I
it's Doom.
don't like Master of Puppets
Yes.
or that album at all. So I
I'm like, oh yeah,
stopped.
Metallica's fucking gay.
But then I listened to like Black Sabbath, and that was awesome.
Oh,
You know?
I think I literally did the same thing.
Yeah. So yeah.
Why was
but
that
then,
one super easy?
But then sometimes there are soundtracks like Tetrisphere has an amazing soundtrack,
Yeah.
and I always thought so growing up. And then I actually see people like talk about like, yeah, it's got like one of the best electronic soundtracks in a game, and I'm like, yeah, I bet it does. Like, that music was that good, wasn't it? You know. So I'm curious if Bomberman is considered like pretty generic breakbeat, you know, because I mean it's just using the regular amen break over and over again.
Yeah,
but like,
listen to this fucking sick song.
well,
It's
I don't
so
know if
elevator.
fucking sick is the words I would use.
It's fucking sick, bro. Now this is getting sick.
But like, recently, I was listening to like a few songs by Prodigy because I'd heard of them as being like one of the important bands. They're the ones who did "I'm the Fire Starter, Twisted Fire Starter," which is a totally, like, by today's standards, completely generic, like breakbeat instrumental kind of song. Like, it just sounds like if you thought of generic dance music, then that's what it sounds like. But at a time, it must have been new, you know? They also did Smack My Bitch Up, which is even worse, of just like, yep, it's just a beat for like 5 minutes of the same beat that like I could now, with modern technology, make this beat in 5 minutes in Fruity Loops, you know? And just have some European guy say weird shit over it, you know. I'm the fire starter, twisted fire starter, and just say that 25,000 times over the same instrumental. So I'm wondering, like, you know, even though the beats in this are pretty generic, the melodies are really memorable. Like this one, Redial, is like the most popular song from the game. And I've seen people, like, you know, like make like, oh, my favorite video game songs, like Redial from Bomberman, and I'm like, huh, you know. Some people consider this one of the best game songs. Maybe it is. So I'd love to hear a...
Maybe my ass. It is the best game soundtrack of all time. I got killed by a pokey nosed man.
I'd love to see someone who's really into 90s electronica tell me if this is a great 90s electronica.
We're gonna get that dude in the comments.
I hope
who's
so.
Just like... Actually, I know literally everything about 90s electronica.
Well, because I know there's people like that.
Yes.
I know that guy is out there. I don't know if he watches Digi Bros,
It's
but...
that guy.
It's that guy. Like, I could probably tell you a lot about the history of metal and how it affects Metalocalypse, you know? I'm not necessarily that guy when it comes to metal, though. I don't know nearly enough.
You are not that guy.
I don't think there's no genre I could be that guy for because I mostly like stuff that breaks genre.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, there's never been a genre I'm inherently into. There's always, like, I like maybe one band per genre. And it's usually the one that isn't quite like what the genre usually is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like being a part of a genre is, like, almost a prerequisite for me not liking something as much.
Slick moves.
But I'm always interested to know people who do know the entire fucking history of one, you know?
Yes. Yes. And then they can put that in the video so I don't have to, like, talk to them or read the comment. They can just explain it to me in a video with
That is
editing.
a pretty ideal form of communication, in my opinion.
It's the perfect form of communication.
Yes.
I've been thinking about something lately, which is that I don't have, like, a conversational friendship chemistry with very many people in the world at all. It's you and Hope are the only people I have, like, a perfect chemistry with, and everyone else is, like, I have a working chemistry with some people, but, God, I can't be around most people at all. It's depressing.
Yeah.
Not really depressing. I actually don't fucking mind at all if I didn't, like, have to interact with people. But then, like, people I work with will want to be all buddy and try to hang out and stuff, and I'm just like, I don't have a chemistry with anyone, like, on a personal level, you know? I don't know if it's just, like, a lack of interest with people or just, like, I can't converse with people, right? It's weird.
You know, you didn't choose these friends. They're just around you, and they want to talk. And, like...
And then it's like, I don't want to offend people by not, like, fucking interacting with them, but then I'm just like, I really don't want to hang out with you people, like, in my free time.
The idea of the PCP, like, that group, the Horseshoe Crew, is, like, kind of astounding that such a thing can exist. Like, that we grouped up people who can interact as well as we can.
Yeah.
You know? And even then, not all of us are necessarily great one-on-one. Like me and Devu have kind of a hard time actually, like, conversing about things. Like, we're better about, like, both analyzing something or working together. We work really well.
Yeah. You have a great working chemistry.
Right. But not necessarily the best. Whereas me and Ben have a great conversational chemistry. I could talk to Ben all day. You know, I can talk to him about anything. And I can talk to about anything. And, like, you know, me and Jesse have a good conversational chemistry. Me and Hippo or me and Nate, maybe not as much. You know, like, we're better at, like, being on a podcast together. But we don't have as much to necessarily say to each other in person. So
that's the weird thing about all you guys is that, like, I listen to them on podcasts so much, but I don't feel like I can talk with anyone in the procrastinators. Like, I don't have a chemistry with anyone.
Not even Ben?
Maybe Ben the most, but, like, we haven't talked much.
Yeah, so I totally get where you're coming from, but, like, that aspect notwithstanding, like, you know, the PCP are the closest thing I have to people I can actually talk to. And it's, like, insane that I even was able to gather them because it's kind of like a you know, like, we removed everyone else from the pool. Like, I talked to everybody who did My Little Pony analysis, and I kind of just selected the people who I liked, and they became my group of friends, you know? And, like, it's very much that kind of thing. Like we hang out because we can't stand anybody else.
Yeah.
You know, not just because we like each other, but because there's no one else who I want to talk to. At least for me, you know.
The people in film who I liked more ended up in the generation after me that's still like going to school, and they've kind of like formed their own clique of working together, and I'm like, I never get to work with those guys who I actually enjoy being around. It's miserable. I just get like Sergio and Aaron who like I can work with, but like would not, you know, talk too much.
Yeah. I mean, you could try talking to those guys more.
Yeah, I don't know.
Gotta be active. You know, they're not that much younger than you.
But it's like you have to find your place with certain people where it's like, right. There's the guy who's the director and the girl who's the DP, and they're a perfect team. So it's like,
you can't
I don't
do either
really
of those
have
jobs.
Yeah, I don't have a place in that team. And then like I'm really good as a first AC, but they aren't at that level where they need that yet.
That's kind of like the thing about the PCP group. Like, there's been people I've met who I'm like, you know, you would be a part of the group if not for the fact that we already have one.
Exactly.
You know, or like there's probably a couple other people who maybe could edit, but no one's gonna be better than Devu for it.
Yeah.
You know, like if I wanted to hire an editor, like I've seen people who I'm like who have offered me stuff, and I'm like, yeah, but I've got the Devu. I don't need anybody else. Like, he's perfect for this. He was, like, bred in a fucking tube to edit my videos, you know?
He came from an alien planet.
Yeah, he came from a planet called Editron, and, like, that's what he does, is edit my videos, you know? Now, if the day ever comes that Devu decides, like, he's gonna focus on his own content and not edit for me anymore, then I'll have options, you know? I'll have people I can bring aboard, but, like, yeah, for now, it's like I don't need someone to fill that position. And that's how I feel about friends in general. Like, there's people I've met who I'm like, you know, I could be friends with this guy, but if you're not friends with the whole PCP, then it's a problem.
It's like I've got you and Hope, and that's just, like, all I really need friendship-wise. And then, like, I have my running dialogues with you guys that, like, everyone else I'd ever meet would have to catch up on my entire life and my entire context.
The problem with me, like,
I don't care to explain all that again.
Some of my friends who aren't in the PCP, like, I've kind of just fallen out with talking to them just because so much is going on with me that I, you know,
I don't really know what's going on with us anymore.
Yeah, like my friend Neil X, he's an online friend of mine, and he, like, I used to talk to him a lot, but it's like at this point, he'll ask me something like, you know, hey, what's going on with you? And I'm like, I don't even know where to start with that because there's so much going on with me, and everybody in the PCP knows all of it, you know? I don't have to explain all that stuff. I think the bombs can go through the mirror, and you have to kick it up the thing. Or maybe you have to put a bomb in that spot right there.
That's what I was trying to do.
Affect it.
Because there's an invisible switch there that's behind the mirror. I'm just not...
Nope, it didn't work.
Can't seem to find where the switch is.
Maybe there's more to this than we realized. Maybe you switch worlds or something.
Possibly.
Either way, this looks
maybe.
Cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. It's pretty fucking sick.
But yeah, it's really weird trying to, like, communicate with anybody who's not already in the group. Or if you're not, like, following my Twitter. Like, sometimes I get asked questions by fans and stuff, and I'm just like, I can't, like, you know, I've addressed this on Twitter. Like, to me, it's like, I already said it, man, you know?
Yeah. Ah, there is an invisible thing there. Okay. These platforms do function.
This is tripping my fucking balls off,
It's
dude.
pretty cool.
Who wants to hear what it sounds like when you try to talk with vape in your mouth?
It makes you sound like some kind of...
like computer program evil boss thing.
Mm-hmm.
Morphe.
I didn't even get a good whatever. Do you have anything else to talk about before this episode's over?
I admire people who keep track of a lot of friends.
I do too.
I just can't do it.
Oh shit!
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, when I watch something like Casey Neistat, I really envy, like, the sheer number of connections he has.
Yeah.
Which are obviously, like not that deep, but they don't need to be.
They're all working relationships, you know.
Yeah.
It's like I have those. I need more of them for what I do.
I don't have enough. Like I don't. For me, I just work with the same people. Like if I want someone for something, I'm just gonna call on one of the guys I already have in my stable, you know, because I don't want to have to introduce new people who I don't really know that well and like try to work with them, you know. Even though I know there's lots of stuff they probably could do to help me.
Gotta have the right people to work with. I just did a job with a guy who I've known from school, and I've helped him out before, and like I've always kind of liked what he does because he's like a gay dude, and he'll do like Lifetime drama kind of stuff, and like that's really interesting to me because no one's doing that. Like everyone wants to do their stupid, shitty, generic horror movie stuff, and I'm like, this guy's actually making things that are like they're poorly written and they're kind of dumb, but they at least relate to people, and like it's a different kind of story. So I was interested in that, and so I was helping him out, and I didn't realize I was going to be helping him with a student project, or I would not have, like, helped him out at all. But then, like, I was DPing for him, and he's just, like, he's not a good director, and he's too kind of amateur, and it was just a really shitty working chemistry. And then I was just like, I just need more people I can work well with. It was definitely a realization of I can't just work for anyone all the time. Right. It has to be someone who, like, I can have a constructive dialogue with. I don't know where that was going. I just wanted to make
no, I get you.
But, like, it's difficult.
Yeah,
I guess I've made it to a point where I work with enough people that I start to find those things out.
Yeah, I don't know. It can be weird. Like, there's certain people who I feel like I'm just on a wavelength with, and some who, like okay, a good example would be Mother's Basement Jeff Thu, of someone who I'm not really on a wavelength with, even though we do work together sometimes. And like, I like the prospect of working with him, and you know, we've done some projects together, but like the kinds of things he gets excited about, I don't, you know. And I feel like with the rest of with the main 6 of the PCP, and even Tommy Oliver, though he's not around as much, and Tom's starting to like get back in with the PCP more, like he's starting to, you know, want to be a part of the group again, and I think that's cool because he has more of the mindset that we do of, you know, me, Jesse, Hippo, Nate, Ben, and Devu. But like, you know, we had Jeff as kind of like the newest edition guy, and at first, like, because you know, the PCP is very much like an art-centered group. Like, we're all very artiste. We want things to be exactly what we want. You know, we don't get that excited about, like, the fame and fortune so much, except when it comes as a consequence of doing what we want. You know? Jeff is much more interested in, like, doing the sellout video. In, like, doing the collab with the famous person because they're the famous person, you know, like he likes that kind of stuff, and I don't blame him at all because that stuff is, you know, it's all great and it's good feathers in your cap, but he's much less of like an artiste kind of guy. You don't get this sense that he has like this grand vision for his videos and his content so much as that he likes making a lot of money, and he, you know, lately he's been doing tons of like sponsored videos and advertisements. People are calling him like the shill king, and I think some of his audience is starting to get sick of it, honestly, because he's just shilling so fucking hard. But then, you know, I gave him the Weebcast, and immediately he starts inviting on like every famous guy he knows. You know, he's got like Two Best Friends Play coming on there, and like fucking you know, what's his name, Giguk, and all these other people.
Man can suck a dick, man.
Yeah, well, he's excited about that idea of like, I know these famous people and we can all do a thing together. But the reason I never did that is because I don't have chemistry with those famous people. Yeah. You know, like, I could have got Giguk on a show anytime I wanted to. I just don't watch Giguk's videos. I don't care about, like, I don't respect his content. I don't, you know, get along with them very well. We have different tastes, different outlooks on where things are going, you know. So, like, to me, talking to him is kind of like, it's not getting me anything, you know? So, like, I'm more concerned about who can I talk to that I'm going to have the most fun making this video, and it's going to be the best product, you know, as opposed to, you know, what will people want to see the most, or what will make me feel like the coolest guy. Not that I'm just like totally ragging. I don't know if that sounds mean to Jeff or positive. I really don't know. It's just a different mindset. Like, he's not very focused on like making artistic masterpiece videos. He's focused on getting a video out every week and making a lot of money with it. You know, he has so many fucking income sources. It's ridiculous. And he's approached me about stuff like, you know, he did this Naruto video where he was like basically playing defense for Naruto, saying like it wasn't as bad as Bleach, you know, like it was an okay thing for when it lasted. But he did it because they made a Naruto online game and they were paying him a crazy amount of money to do it. And he says so in the video. He says all of those things, you know. And he makes this like 18-minute video about Naruto, and I'm like, you never would have made this if not for the advertisement, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm all for doing an ad as an excuse to make something, you know, if it's something you're interested in already.
Yeah.
Like, if they offered me, like, make a video about K-On! And we'll pay you, I'd be like, yeah, because of course I'm going to make a video about K-On! But I would never have made a video about Naruto. So, like, because he told me about that deal when he first got struck up. He was like, hey, the Naruto Online people are going around, like, looking for YouTubers to advertise them. Are you interested? And I was like, no, I'm not going to talk about Naruto. I don't care about Naruto, you know. But that's kind of the difference. And so that's why, you know, while I do still work with Jeff on some stuff and will continue to work with him in the future, like, I don't work with him a lot because he's more interested in that aspect, you know. And that's why he has the Weebcast and he has all that stuff now, because that's the elements I'm less interested in. You know, but I'll be willing to get him in for things like Plebe and the Weeb, which is a show that is like the exact opposite of like a show that you'd make for success, you know? It's like a show that is definitely going to be less viewed and less successful than my main content, and is way more expensive and harder to make than my main content. But
it's creatively satisfying.
But it's creatively satisfying, and I want it, you know? So that's why it has to exist.
Fuck, dude, this is a hard boss.
Well, we're at the end of our time for this episode and for this camera, so...
I just want to say it sucks for what I do, because I feel like I should never turn down an opportunity, even if it doesn't pay or if it's with someone random. So it sucks to find out I don't have chemistry with someone and just have that kind of die.
I mean, the problem is you haven't made it yet. And the moment you've made it is when you can do whatever you want. I mean, Casey Neistat has said how, you know, when he was doing film work early on, he literally took every job they gave him.
Which is why I do that, you know, why I'd work on someone's random student film, because, like, I have to take every opportunity.
But then once he sold that show, there was no going back to that, you know? It's something you abandon once you can abandon
Motherfucker, this is hard as shit. I need to, like, go grind up more bombs or something.
Alright, that's it for this episode.